Costume designers are rarely recognized for their genius, but they really should be, and today's genius is Patricia Field. Now, she is one of my favorite costume designers of all time, and probably one of your favorites as well. She's done work on movies like The Devil Wears Prada and TV shows like Sex and the City. However, even though she's worked on so many projects that are very fashion heavy, her styling is so intentional and different on each project that she works on, and that's very true for this movie as well. The movie being Confessions of a Shopaholic, inspired by the book Shopaholic Takes Manhattan, written by Sophie Kinsey. Confessions of a Shopaholic is a romantic comedy, and it features Rebecca Bloomwood, this young shopping addict living in New York City with dreams of working for one of the top fashion magazines called Alette, but the position gets filled internally and she ends up getting a job at a financial magazine under the same parent company with hopes of transferring, even though she's terrible with money herself and is in like a bunch of debt from spending. However, throughout the movie, she learns to become financially responsible and to be honest, because her lies do catch up with her throughout the movie. When we first meet Rebecca, she's in the pink and purple ensemble dress that feature both designer pieces like the Zac Posen dress and the Gucci bag, and non-designer pieces like the purple jacket that Field actually got in Tokyo Shopping Mall, which is where a lot of the clothing was sourced for this movie. This was intentional. Field mixed both high and low pieces in order to show that Rebecca was a shopping addict. Even mentioning in an interview that the first time she met with Isla for a character fitting, the fitting room was full of colorful clothing with every sort of combination of items. And a colorful combination is exactly what we saw on screen. However, I want to note that this movie is very different compared to the other movies and TV shows of the time that are very fashion heavy. The fashion in this movie is very experimental in a way that shows off Rebecca's naivety and the chaos behind her spending. She's a shopping victim, but there are times when she looks like a fashion victim as well. This being said, one of my favorite things about the costuming throughout this entire film is the ability of Patricia Field to put these bold colors that actually match with Isla Fisher, the actress that plays Rebecca Bloomwood. She always is in like purples, turquoises, oranges, really nice complementary colors to her hair, to her skin tone. That's just a master in color theory. And one of my favorite pieces is actually the purple Lanvin dress that she wears to the morning show interview. The story behind the interview dress is that Field had seen the dress from Lanvin in more muted tones, and she really wanted it in a bolder tone because it was such a statement scene in the film. And she reached out to Albert Elbaz, who was a designer of Lanvin at the time, and she got permission from him in order for the costume department to reproduce the dress and make it in this bold purple, which one of the bolder looks is definitely going to be the bridesmaid's dress. I think that's the boldest look, and that's saying something. Field said that she wanted them to look like tropical flowers. Mission accomplished. Another one of my favorite looks is the white business suit by Vivienne Westwood, and now Rebecca wears this when she goes to Miami, and it looks like something that she would buy in the moment because she's going on a trip to Miami. And then this is paired with an Oscar de la Renta green top, and again, that color looks so well on her. Rebecca has so many looks, so here are a couple of honorable mentions before I move on to other looks by other characters that I think are... Susan's one of my favorites. She's actually described by Field as the Williamsburg girl. She is young, artistic, and has a little bit more of a limited budget, but has never stopped her style. A Bob of Bob's, Alicia, that works at Alette magazine, the spidery legs herself, always has the best, most glamorous looks. And all three characters are very interested in fashion, but executed in very different ways. In order to create a really big contrast to Rebecca's looks, there is Hugh Dancy, who plays Luke Brandon. He has a very minimal business look, and then Rebecca's parents also have a very different look, wearing more knitwear, muted colors, very simple garments. And of course, the iconic green scarf is by Denny and George. Also ripped to Henry Bendel, the department store that closed down in 2019 and was featured in this movie quite a bit. Finally, I wanted to read some quotes from Field herself for aspiring young costumers. She said, "Identify your assets and develop them. I'm not a director, I'm not a writer. I do this and I do it well." She's always very bold in interviews. I definitely recommend looking at them. If you want to see me break down a certain movie or TV show, let me know in the comments. I am working on your recommendations, I promise.